Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of The Good, The Bad and The Ugly. This is Adge 1099 in his E25. He's in a tier 8 game here on Abbey. Do you ever have one of those games, or watch one of those replays where you're just thinking, why does this never happen to me? This is one of those games. Adge sent this replay in, and I can just imagine him laughing like a madman from start to finish throughout this game, because the amount of RNG and just dumb luck that he has in this match is nothing short of outstanding. He makes some good decisions as well, but he had the luck of the devil on his side. Watch this. He's instantly spotted by a Tiger and a Ferdinand who are expecting somebody to come up. The Ferdinand misses, the Tiger bounces. What? That could have ended him there and then. So there's his first spot of luck. He's actually stopping here because he can't believe what just happened either, and he's typing in chat to the Ferdinand. Ferdy, did you just bounce? It wasn't. The Ferdy missed. The Tiger's the one that bounced off his tiny little German ass. Type 62, not paying attention, just got himself obliterated. Adge knows he can't sit here. This position is covered. He's got to get out. So he cautiously pokes, and when no return fire comes in, he dips down out of line of fire and moves around the side. Now things get a little bit quiet from here on in, and about 30 seconds go by before a comet comes looking for him. Well, I say the comet comes looking for him, but he's not. He's just casually bimbling up into the Abbey. His gun was even pointing in the wrong direction, so he had no idea that Adge could have been lurking around this corner. Adge's first shot blows his tracks off, keeps him in position, allowing him to pump shot after shot into the Comet's terribly armoured side. The Comet manages to score 2 penetrating hits before Adge sets him on fire and finishes him off. Well, that was nice. But that's just the start. Adge's next customer is that Tiger who bounced off his ass right at the start of the game, and this Tiger knows he's here. He's coming up here to kill him, and he has almost full health. Adge is in trouble now, unless of course he can detonate his ammo rack. You lucky swine. Unbelievable. And now he starts getting a bit cocky here in chat. He's like, come at me, bro. But did you see that Ferdinand? Now, that's the Ferdinand who missed him right at the start of the match. The Ferdinand was just in front of where the dead Comet and the Tiger are, down on the road leading off towards Adge's friendly base. And he was backing up when he was last spotted. Yeah, that Ferdy's decided to put a stop to your shenanigans, Adge. And he's got a really big gun, and he's got a lot more health than you have. Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, he's backing up. He's backing up. He's backing up. Here he comes. Here he comes. Why so shy, Mr. Ferdinand? It's only an E25. Yeah, maybe discretion is the better form of valour here. So Adge decides, nah, screw that. I'm never going to get that lucky twice. And he gets the hell out of there. So he starts hightailing it round in the general direction of the enemy base, and it's at roughly this point when he spots a T-28 prototype who lights him up, and a Rheinmetall Borsig opens fire and bounces off his arse. What the actual hell is that all about? And the T-28 prototype is AFK, so he can actually hide from the Rheinmetall Borsig completely safe from return fire, while he just pumps shot after shot and does full damage to a tier 8 T-28 prototype at absolutely no cost or risk to himself. Why does this never happen to me? Turns around. Rheinmetall Borsig misses him. Oh my god. Can I have some of your luck, please? And hightails it out of there. Now, it's at this point when he suddenly realises, oh, hold on, there was a Ferdinand. And he's actually going back to take on the Ferdinand again. He can't possibly get away with that. He's only in an E25. And the Ferdinand's a good player. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Is the Ferdinand still up here? Is he perhaps facing the wrong way? Well, he's still here. Oh dear. And there's 2 and 3 and 4, and the Ferdinand can't get his gun down low enough to hit the E25 and reverses. Very nearly falls off the edge. I've just got to back up now. Oops. You cannot be serious. Nobody is that lucky. A couple of seconds later, friendly Tiger just nails the S51, then runs into the Black Prince and starts requesting assistance. Doesn't really need assistance. He's got the long 88 gun, the Black Prince doesn't have a lot of health left. And Adge correctly guesses that he doesn't have time to go around the top and come up behind the Black Prince, because the Tiger's going to have finished him off, with or without his help. So he just charges straight in, buries his gun in the side of the Black Prince, and quite calmly pulls the trigger. There's his 4th kill. And I know a lot of you are going to be sitting there going, oh, that was such a kill steal. If the Tiger wanted the kill, he shouldn't have asked for help. He said, I need help with the Black Prince. Help is exactly what he got. So, Adge 1099, I can't thank you enough for sending that replay in. I haven't laughed so much in ages. Can I have some of whatever it is you've been smoking, please? That was hilarious. This is Wolsey in his T29. Straightforward, top tier, random battle on Himmelsdorf. When Wolsey posted this replay up on World of Tanks Replays, he said that this is the first time the decision to not team kill somebody has lost him a game. So, huge spoiler alert there. But it's important that you see the astronomical levels of douchebaggery on display from this guy here in the VK2801. Oh, careful VK. Clumsy driving there. That could have hurt you. At this point, Wolsey has no idea what's in store for him. He thinks he's fighting a 15 versus 15 random battle when he's actually fighting a 14 versus 16 random battle, and he's not allowed to shoot one of the enemies or he gets banned. He's set up to try side scraping on the corner against this Yak Panther, but most American heavies have such terrible side armour that you've got to be very careful how much of an angle you display, because they'll just penetrate your side anyway. And of course, matters aren't helped when friendly scout tank drivers in your team start pulling shit like this. Well, he kills the BDR anyway, and the Yak Panther misses his second shot. And at this point, Wolsey's trying to figure out whether or not this VK2801 is deliberately trolling him or just brain damaged. So far, he's actually given him the benefit of the doubt, and assuming that he's just mentally defective. Decides he's going to go forward. He's going to get himself hull down here. Oh, Panzer 4H. And there. And this is a great spot for the T29. As long as your flank is secure, to the right, carefully plants that shot right in the Panzer 4H's drive wheel. He's not going to use a repair kit. He's got this kill. Hold down there, Yak Panther just bouncing shots off his gun mantlet and turret front. VK2801, leave him alone for the moment. Bounces another shot, and oh, a Lux as well. Well, the Yak Panther is now a one-shot kill, but this is when our little friend in the VK2801 turns up again. And what he does next might not be deliberately malicious. He could just be really, really stupid. Look at this. That's not necessarily deliberate malicious trolling. He's not necessarily deliberately blocking Wolsey. Now, I am fully aware that a lot of you out there at this point would have snapped and team killed this guy anyway, just to be on the safe side. He's either a deliberate menace to his team, or he is so incredibly bad that it amounts to the same thing. Either way, you don't want to be anywhere near a plane like this. Wolsey is still actually giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, but it's at more or less this point when he finally realises that this guy is not actually brain damaged. He's just a wanker. Look at this. Blocks him as he comes around the corner. Tries to block him from retreating after he kills the Jagdpanther. Jumps in front of his gun so he can't take these other two enemy tanks under fire. Look at this. There is nothing accidental about this. Wolsey must have the patience of a saint. I would be amazed if there was anybody watching this video who would have been even slightly surprised if Wolsey hadn't team killed this guy by this point. Well, Wargaming would have blamed him and possibly banned his account, and that's why he doesn't do it. Yeah, he's going to do it again. Watch this. Now, whose finger might have slipped on the trigger at this stage? You could legitimately say, well, I was going for the Type 58. But, well, you know the accuracy of the T-29's gun. And the VK doesn't even try to kill the AFK enemy tank. He just makes sure that Wolsey can't. Now they're being capped. And, well, Wolsey still has almost all of his health, and he is in a T-29, and he's got the 105mm gun. If he can just make it back to the cap circle without being stopped along the way, he can win this game. And here comes the VK2801, who actually fires a warning shot past him. And then... Wolsey, seriously. I don't think there's a person in the world, other than Wargaming, who would have blamed you for killing this guy at this point. But he still doesn't do it. I know I keep saying, don't feed the trolls, don't team kill them. That's what they want you to do. They want you to get banned. But I don't know if I'd been able to resist the temptation to just end that little cocksucker right there and then. And Wolsey says in his replay description there, being a nice guy apparently loses games. No, Wolsey, you've got the cart before the horse on this whole issue here, as so many people do. You did not lose because you were a nice guy. You lost because Captain Buttmunch was on your team. You did not do anything wrong. He did. He is the reason why you lost, not you. Nobody would have blamed you if you had team killed him, especially right at the end of that match. But you didn't. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't take the bait. You didn't do what he wanted you to do, what he spent the entire game trying to get you to do. So by his standards, you're the winner. The only action you're legitimately allowed to take is to report them. Use that report function. It's there for a reason. Don't take this kind of shit from these little trolls. Get them reported. Get them banned. Don't get banned yourself. There are other ways of dealing with it, as Clear Skies here is going to demonstrate on the Cockknocker in the B1, but it is risky. The B1 is basically doing what the VK2801 just did in the last replay. Clear Skies doesn't have as much patience as Wolsey. So, he backs up, blows his tracks off, and then just drives around him. Now, this does count as team damage, as you're going to see in a moment. And this kind of tactic usually only works against immature little cockknockers who are also idiots. Now, a lot of these little cockholsters won't be dumb enough to lose their temper when you outsmart them and start shooting at you. But if they had any kind of intelligence, they wouldn't be doing this in the first place, so a lot of them will lose their temper and start shooting at you. And if they shoot at you enough, guess what happens? They turn blue. And players on the blue team can be shot at without penalty by anybody. So now Clear Skies is able to enjoy the intense satisfaction of giving this little cockknocker A big old repair bill to remember him by when he comes back from his well-deserved account suspension. Unfortunately, they're not all as dumb as this genius, and finding out exactly how stupid they are can be dangerous because it involves you shooting at them, which is exactly what they want you to do in the first place, and runs the risk that you're going to be the one with the account ban. It will always be safer for you to just ignore them, report them, and move on to the next game. Nowhere near as satisfying, of course. Today's final replay is Fizzy driving his T-150 Soviet Tier 6 heavy tank in a Tier 7 match on the highway map. The teams are pretty well balanced. This could go either way. I quite like the T-150. I don't drive it very often because I keep forgetting I have it, but it's a very, very well armoured Tier 6 heavy. It's not particularly mobile, but it's not ridiculously slow either, and the gun is not bad. It's your typical mid-tier Russian heavy tank gun. The accuracy of 0.45 is pretty terrible, the aiming time of 3.4 seconds is even worse, but it has 167mm of penetration, it will do 300 average damage, and it has a significantly faster reload than the equivalent Russian 122mm gun that everybody's so afraid of. The T-150 often gets underestimated. Nobody's really scared of the T-150 the way they were of the KV-1S, or if you're watching this video after patch 9.3, the KV-85. And it was because of that 122mm gun, and the 175mm of penetration, and 390 average damage. But 300 damage in one shot in a Tier 6 machine is pretty impressive as well. It's good enough to take off almost all of the health of most of the Tier 5 machines in the game. It's good enough to kill most Tier 6s in 3 shots, and if you use the armour well and trade shots with Tier 7s, you're going to give them significant problems as well. Fizzy just having a quick look around there to see what sort of backup he can expect in the town, and unfortunately the Tier 7s on his team are all mediums and tank destroyers, which means they're nowhere near him. And that means that the Tier 6s, like Fizzy here in the T-150, and this guy with him in the M6, are going to have to bear the brunt of the fighting. The bad news is that the enemy team have 2 Tier 7 heavy tanks. The good news is that the one of them that's best at fighting in cities is all the way over in the middle of an open field on the west side of the map. But Fizzy does have the AMX M445 over here to deal with, and he does have a very, very nasty 90mm gun. And between that AMX M4 and that Jackson, Fizzy has now slightly less than half of his health left after taking only 2 hits. So he can't afford to just waste the rest of his health. What he wants to do on this corner is side scrape against the AMX M4. Hide the tank around the corner, keeping him safe from all those Tier 6s down the end of that road, and angle the armour against the AMX M4 and turn this into a one-on-one fight between him and the AMX. But if you're going to hog a corner like that, you need to time your moves very, very carefully so as not to get blocked by the person on the corner with you, like this M6. And so that's pretty much exactly what he does. And bingo! Suddenly, the AMX M4 isn't looking quite so clever. And then suddenly, a wild ELC appears. He sees the threat, angles his armour, ELC only blows his tracks off, and he's rewarded by a 90mm shot straight in the face from the M6. So that could have been significantly worse. Approaches the corner again, AMX M4 still out there. Now with him and the M6 both covering the corner, is that M4 going to pop out again? He's on perilously low health. It'd be suicide if he did. Then the ELC driver decides I don't like this anymore, makes a run for it. Fizzy merely blows his tracks off, and while he's stationary, the M6 misses him. ELC drivers, luck of the Irish. However, big fat juicy KV2, who is aiming at somebody, and oh, that's more like it. Bounces a shot from the ELC, turned around, coming back looking for more, dodges the shot from the AMX M4. And if you ever wondered why there are so many KV2 derp videos up, not just on my channel, but on everybody's channels, it's because the drivers like this M6. Sideways, in front of the gun of a KV2? Seriously? KV2 is going to do a lot of damage to you anyway, but the damage that he does is mitigated by the armour that you have, and none of it's on the side of your tank. Drivers like that guy in the M6 are the reason why there are so many KV2 derp videos on YouTube. Now remember that ELC? His luck hasn't run out yet. Watch this. Surely you are doomed. No, apparently not. He returns fire, but the angle was bad. All he managed to do was damage Fizzy's tracks. But now here comes the AMX M4. And Fizzy is angled exceptionally well, side-scraping around the corner. It's going to take him 2 shots to kill this AMX M4, but it would take him 2 shots to kill him, even if he had a 122mm gun. And it's the superior reload time and respectable damage output of this 107mm gun which allows him to reload fast enough to kill the AMX M4 before he could do any further damage to him, and put a shot through this wall and kill that KV-1S before he could get more than 1 shot off against him. But he's not done yet. Pops around this corner and, oh look, there's the Jackson, and he kills him too. What's the ELC going to do now? Yeah, where are you now? Where are all your friends now? Yeah, I don't think he fancies pushing his luck any further. But the thing is, you know, the KV-1S, or the KV-85 as it is after patch 9.3, would still have been dealing with the second tank in that situation. The T-150's gun just is so much more... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Show me that big fat American ass. Yeah, is this guy... He's AFK, isn't he? Yeah. What an easy kill. And this is why I've always thought the T-150 is just a better tank than the KV-1S. It doesn't command the same kind of fear and respect that the KV-1S does, but the KV-1S, and obviously this is prior to patch 9.3, the KV-1S as it exists in its current form, patch 9.2 and earlier, it's a one-trick pony. That 122mm gun is all that it has. You take that gun away and it's a very, very mediocre tank. Of course, platoons of KV-1Ss driven by competent players are absolutely deadly, but for just solo play in random battles, the T-150 is so much better a machine. KV-1S has always been a bit of a bully of a tank. It just picks on tanks that are smaller than them, particularly tier 5 tank destroyers, most of whom the KV-1S is entirely capable of killing in one shot. The T-150 can't do that, but it can shrug off the tier 5 tank destroyer's return fire and kill it with a second shot. And when a KV-1S gets outnumbered, it's usually screwed. It's not something that you can say of the T-150 because it's got the armour and the reload to be able to survive and beat the opposition if it's driven well and it gets itself into that kind of situation. Of course, people will always point to the KV-1S's other advantage over the T-150. It's significantly more mobile, but the T-150 isn't slow. Look at this. Being capped by 2 enemy tanks. He's the last one left on his team. He's got 4 tanks to face. 2 of them are in the cap circle, and he's entirely capable of getting back in the time required to respond to this kind of threat. So what's he got in the cap circle? There we go, 3002M, and... oh, the ELC. Right, is the ELC's luck going to last? No, it isn't. Finally, okay. Now, if Fizzy had been in this situation, in a KV-1S or a KV-85, going up against a VK with 340 health, his first shot would probably have just killed him. But then again, it might not. In the T-150, Fizzy only had to take 3 hits from that VK, 2 of which he bounced before he was ready to reload and finish him with his second shot. Been driving a KV-1S or a KV-85, you'd have had to take 5 or 6 hits from the VK before you could reload and finish him off with your second shot. But he didn't have enough health to take 5 or 6 hits from a VK, and if he'd been in a KV-1S or a KV-85, he wouldn't have had the armour to do it either. So this is why I keep saying T-150 is just a much more... it doesn't have the sexy or fear factor of a KV-1S or a KV-85, but it just gets the job done. And he's still got a job to do. 2 good players in an SU-100 and a Panther, and the one limiting factor that's common of all Russian tier 6 heavy tanks is they have bad view range. That Panther is definitely going to see him before he sees the Panther. And the SU-100 is going to be gunning for a shot as well. So So with the Panther spotting and the SU-100, oh, there we go, he's taking a hit. He's taking a hit. The Panther is shooting. Panther is out there in the direction of the water tower somewhere. What's he going to do? Stop to take cover behind the wreck of the artillery in the bushes, and then he breaks cut and he's moving forward. This is risky as all hell. He still does not know where the SU-100 is. Oh, this is tense. There's the Panther. Oh, he's hit him. The Panther's now a one-shot kill. Where is the SU-100? Did the Panther come up here alone? Well, you've got to fight the tanks you can see, not the tanks you can't see. The Panther knows he's a one-shot now. Well, they're both potentially one-shots. The Panther can kill him with one shot. Oh, there's the SU-100. On the map. On the map. Look at the map. He's behind you. There he is. Oh, I can't look. Oh, he's got him. He's got him. Oh, but here comes side of the turret. Oh my god, he missed. The Panther missed. Wow. Whew. Yes, okay, well. Decent result. So, wow. What a finish. That was Fizzy in the severely underrated T-150 Soviet Tier 6 heavy tank, getting himself his Ace Tanker badge, a Radley Walters medal, steel wall, high caliber, Top Gun and Defender in a Tier 7 match on the highway map. Hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.